not only the history of the novel in America, but the history of weepers, which I guess carry on through now in the romance novels. Charlotte Temple was a novel written by Susanna Rowson, and she described as a novel the apparently true story of a woman whose name was not Charlotte Temple at all, but some other name, Charlotte Stanley, sorry, who was, as they say, seduced and abandoned after she bore this Englishman's child. Someplace down the line, after this thing had gone through any number of its 200 editions, this appeared. Now that's a patched gravestone. It says Charlotte Temple. It doesn't say Charlotte Stanley. And 2 years ago, Trinity Church, weary of answering questions, lifted the stone and looked underneath. There's a lot of dirt. That's all there is. However, I think to get the mood of the thing, somebody should read. Who would like to volunteer to read from Charlotte Temple? Here we go. This is a weeper, so gear yourself up.
Okay. It's a long reading? Temple reading. It was nearly dark. He heard from a neighboring steeple a solemn toll that seemed to say some poor mortal was going to their last mansion. The sound struck on the heart of Montraville, and he involuntarily stopped, when from one of the houses he saw the appearance of a funeral. Almost unknowing what he did, he followed a small distance, and as they let the coffin into the grave, he inquired of a soldier who stood by, and had just brushed off a tear that did honor to his heart, who it was that was just buried. "And please, your honor," said the man, "'tis a poor girl that was brought from her friend by a cruel man, who left her when she was big with child, and married another." Montraville stood motionless, and the man proceeded, "I met her myself not a fortnight since, one night all wet and cold in the streets. She went to Madame Creighton's, but she would not take her in, and so the poor thing went raving mad." Montraville could not bear no more. He struck his hands against his forehead with violence, and exclaiming, "Poor murdered Charlotte," ran precipitation towards the place where they were heaping the earth on her remains. To the end of his life he was subject to severe fits of melancholy, and while he remained at New York, frequently retired to the churchyard, where he would weep over the grave and regret the ultimately fate of the lovely Charlotte Temple.